Don't understand. Secretary Mayorkas, who was just impeached.
Yes.
I was his DOD liaison to the Pentagon.
No way. Wow.
Yes.
He knows my own. Wow.
I saw everything. That's,
you know what goes on.
And that's why I got so angry that I decided to spend my own money to run for Congress.
What is up, guys? We are here with the one and only, Berney Flowers. Did I say it correctly?
You said it perfectly.
Berney Flowers, running for Congress from the great state of Maryland, and he's giving us an interview right here. We're really grateful for it. Thank you so much for the time, Berney.
Yeah, appreciate you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Tell them the story about how we met.
Oddly enough, I'm walking around with one of my friends, and I was asking somebody to take a picture. And Anthony volunteered, and then my friend Tracy rolled up because she had called me earlier this morning, and she said, "This is Anthony. This is the guy I want you to meet." So that's just, the odds against that are just crazy. So I'm just thankful.
Well, God works in mysterious ways. It is great.
He sure is.
So when did you decide? So what's the district that you're running from?
I am running in Maryland's 3rd district, which is all of Howard County, most of Anne Arundel County, and a little bit of Carroll County. It's in the center of the state.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we were just at a great barbecue place, Old South Roadhouse.
Oh,
yeah, really good place in Maryland. We love barbecue.
We love barbecue.
When did you decide to run?
Well, it's a long story, but the issue of the day is I spent 34 years working in the United States DOD. I was 20 years in the United States Air Force and another 14 working in various agencies. And I saw things that I didn't like, and it just bothered me till I decided to run. So I ran in 2002. I left the DHS on the 18th day of January of 2022, I'm sorry. And I ran. I did not win, so I'm running again. But the issue of the day is I saw some things that needed to be corrected. I've got a very unique skill set with my time in the military and my time in DOD. I think I can help the American people, and especially the people of Maryland. So I've always kind of had this on my mind. God has challenged me to do this, and I'm trying to be obedient.
What are the top issues that you see happening in our country now, and that you would be representing your people from the 3rd District of Maryland?
We got so many issues we need to fix. It all comes together for me as a DOD military guy. But the issue of the day is first, national security. Well, now education is part of that. Our children are not being educated in a way that allows them to participate in society. Have you seen the schools in Baltimore?
Yeah.
You probably have heard.
Yeah, I've heard.
Okay, now we've got immigration. Well, the issue of the border crisis. We've got 5 million military-aged men from other countries right here in our country, and we need to do something about that. We need to find these people, identify who they are, send them back if at all possible. But they can cause a lot of problems. The economy is terrible.
Can I ask you a real quick question about the economy in a second? I think one of the things that people will say, especially you hear from the media, that is to have that position is racist and not compassionate. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm not a racist, and I'm very compassionate. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a military officer retired. Nobody loves this country any more than I do. And when people say racist, well, they can call it whatever they want to, but the issue of the day is I've sworn to protect my country, and I will do so until I die. You can call it whatever you want.
So it sounds like it's not that you're not compassionate, it's that you're trying to look out for the best interests of your country, of your neighbors, the people of your district that you would be representing.
You are very correct. And the bottom line is we need to take care of our country. I call it America first. Other people here call it America first. I'm America first.
Amen. And so that was transitioning to the economy. You're talking a lot about the economy, I miss inflation and unemployment.
Well, how about this? I went to the grocery store the other day. My wife sent me to pick up some bacon, and I paid $10 for it. That's crazy. That's not
way too much money for bacon.
There you go.
You're supposed to be bringing home the bacon, not paying off for all that money for the
There you go. And so the bottom line is we have all the resources that we need in this country to be totally self-sufficient, and we were when our last president was in charge, Mr. Trump. Now we have Mr. Biden in charge, and now we're dependent on everybody else for everything. We've got a 200-year supply of oil in this country. Yes, we should protect the environment. I get it. However, why can't we just transition from, the oil economy gradually into the electric economy? We don't have the infrastructure to do all these electric cars. We do not have well, we've got the knowledge and the background to do all this stuff, but the issue today is that we're not doing this in a smart manner. My next door neighbor, he bought an electric car just recently. It's beautiful, but if all 12 houses bought electric cars, we don't have the electric grid to handle it.
Yes.
So I don't know if our government is taking charge of that. In the times that I've been in the United States behind the fence, working for DOD, I can tell you that I've been to Lawrence Livermore National Labs. I've been to pretty much all the national labs, and the capabilities to be self-sufficient exist, but for whatever reason we're not using those capabilities. So I got a lot of experience and I got a lot of background that I think that I can apply to the American people, and specifically the people of Maryland. I can help. That's the bottom line. And by the way, don't forget, we have an open seat in Maryland.
Yeah.
John Sarbanes just retired, or better yet, he abdicated the seat. So he's not running again. So we got an open opportunity and the best in a generation to win, and I am the right guy to get this done for you.
That's a great message. And talking about a lot of the things that you have to deal with, we have a lot of people in our audience around the country. They're concerned about the level of government spending. They're thinking about the debt. We just crossed
$34 trillion. That's $264,000 for every tax-paying citizen. I got a house that I can't live in because I got a mortgage that the government put upon me, and most people have no idea that they owe the Federal Reserve $264,000. That's ridiculous. And we've got wars going on in Ukraine. We're sending money to everybody, but our border is open. It's ridiculous. And so the issue of the day, America first. Let's take care of our people. Let's take care of our problems, and then we can try to help other people. But if we're taking everybody else's problems into account and not taking care of our own, we're stupid. And I want to fix that if I can get into Congress. People don't understand. Secretary Mayorkas, who was just impeached.
Yes.
I was his DOD liaison to the Pentagon.
No way. Wow.
Yes.
He knows him. Wow.
I saw everything.
You know what goes on.
And that's why I got so angry that I decided to spend my own money to run for Congress. I'm trying to get some support from everyone, but the bottom line is we got the best opportunity to win this in a generation. This is a very Democratic state, but I believe that the Democrats are a little bit angry right now. The independents, we got a lot of independents. They're looking for the right Republican or the right conservative. I'm that guy. I can get this done for you.
I want to preface this question about saying whenever I'm talking with another person, another human being, I see them as a human being, a child of God.
Yes, sir.
What is it like? But in this country, we live in a culture that sees so much through the lens of race, people's of color skin. And I would like to hear what's been your experience? You being a African American, a black man running in the Republican Party, and what that is. What's that experience like? What has it been like for you?
Well, first, I wrote a book called Black Values Matter last year.
Okay.
I'm hoping people will check it out. They can get it on Amazon, Audible, the bottom line. But explains a lot of my philosophy. But here's the thing: I'm originally from
takes in food.
I was not aware.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you about, it sounds like you're a man of faith. Who is the God of your understanding?
The God of my understanding can't be described.
Okay.
We are not smart enough, intelligent enough. We don't have the wherewithal to understand the creator of the universe.
He's beyond anything that we could imagine.
But he animates us.
Amen. So you believe in God, and you have faith. You're a faith-based person. Jesus Christ.
Bottom line, every day. He's my pilot. I'm the co-pilot. So, but the bottom line is, we have allowed this Christian nation to be usurped by people who are not Christian, and that's a problem. And I believe that this is a special nation with a special responsibility. And if we don't take that responsibility, it's not going to work out well for us.
A lot of the people criticize the right because they have brought Christ or their faith into political life.
Yes.
What do you say to that?
I believe that faith should be part of your entire wherewithal. I believe that, we should not be afraid to get ourselves involved as Christians. We should get ourselves involved and involve Christian values. I mean, remember, when the Pilgrims came over, they came here to escape religious persecution. These people were Christians. That's where this country was started from, and it should still be the same way. Am I saying that other people can't have their way. I mean, before I came here, I was talking to one of my Muslim friends.
Yes.
And he runs an organization called Coalition of Virtue. His name is Kareem Moniz. We were protesting the Montgomery County School Board here in Maryland just recently because they want to teach things in the school system that families wouldn't be comfortable with. And me and him and a few others, there were thousands at the protest, but the issue of the day is we are religious people and we should have a coalition of virtue. Christians, Muslims, Jews, together raising our families. You can believe in whatever you want to, but family first. That's the bottom line.
Yes, it makes me think, one of the things I would say is that I see these criticisms of Christians being involved in politics, and the left is very much focused on the separation between church and state.
Right.
And not only is that not really in the Constitution, but they want to do it at a personal level, as if once you go into once you step into public life, or you're out there politically, or you're talking, you're an elected official. It's like the thing that you believe in, your viewpoint, your worldview, and how you view the world, and what you believe in, can't be involved, can't be part of how you make your decisions. It can't be who you are, part of you as a congressman.
When we take away people's faith, then what happens is you have a void.
Yes.
And that's where the communists come in. And this is not by accident, by any stretch of the imagination. They've been planning it for a very, very long time. It's a soft coup, what you might call it. But the issue of the day is, I spent a lot of time in my military career learning about these sorts of things. I was a Cold Warrior. I expected to die defending my country in the Fulda Gap in Germany. But instead, we are being invaded softly by our enemies. The Chinese, the Russians, and all the communists. They've always hated us, and they've got us where they want us right now, and they hadn't had to fire a shot. And we're allowing them to do it. I say we need to get ourselves together, turn this thing around.
And standing up to it, and that's how we do it.
That's how we do it.
With our actions, by getting involved,
and
by running for elected. And amen. James Carville, so you sound like you're an America First nationalist.
Yes.
Right? And you're a Christian.
I am.
Big thing that's talked about a lot right now in the media is the threat of Christian nationalism. And Christian nationalism is, they say Christian nationalism is, James Carville said Christian nationalism is more of a threat to America than Al-Qaeda.
Is James Carville a Christian?
I think he might be. I don't know if you know who he is.
I know exactly who he is.
Okay, all right,
I would
good.
venture to say that he isn't. But the bottom line is we should all get into our Bibles and read. And we should all understand, take those principles from the Bible, and you'll understand that you are responsible to defend your family. You are responsible to defend your land. And if you put down your arms and you don't defend, then the other people will take over. Now, who those other people are, I don't know. But I can tell you that America has enemies. Yes. Lots of them. Some people call us the great saviors. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that country. But we do more good in this world than anybody. When there's a disaster, the people in whatever, at their tsunami or whatever they call it, they're looking for the Americans.
Yeah.
Everybody hates America until something goes wrong. Yes. I remember just recently one of the presidents of one of the countries in Africa. This guy is a dictator. I'm not going to say which country, but you can look it up. But the issue of the day is when there was a coup, and they were knocking on his gates at his presidential palace on the west side of Africa. And the issue of the day is he was calling for the American Marines to pick him up. And we didn't get involved.
Yeah.
But the issue is that's how we do business. Bottom line is we try to keep order. We call it Pax Americana. You ever heard that before?
Of course.
There you go. Pax Americana is not being pursued by the current administration. That's a problem. And I don't mind fighting for stability. I put my hand up and I spent 21 years almost, yes, doing whatever the government needed me to do. But the issue of the day is we're not doing that anymore. We're failing our allies. And I would like to say a little bit about the Ukraine. Here we are fighting after the wall fell. People don't realize that we made an agreement with the Russian Federation and we said Ukraine's going to be a buffer zone. We're not going to try to recruit them to NATO. You leave them alone, we'll leave you alone. We didn't do that. Part of this is our fault. A lot of people don't believe that, but I was on the inside. People don't understand that 30% of the Ukrainian people speak Russian. Surveys have been taken. Those people on the eastern side of Ukraine in the Donbass region, they want to join Russia. So the issue of the day is we're perpetuating war and we're operating against the will of the people. Have you ever thought about that? They won't tell you that on the mainstream media news.
No, and I think it's essential that you get that message out and tell people that this is the story behind everything. There's more than just the surface level. It's Putin, bad man, going and invading. Yeah, there's a lot more that happened in the past.
Trust me, the Russians love their children too.
Yes.
And I want to tell you another thing that I want to take into account since you've given me a little opportunity to talk.
Of course, yeah, of course.
You do realize that Russia has nuclear weapons.
Yeah, that was something I checked. I heard about that.
Yeah. I talk to people that are in favor of the Ukraine war. I've been to Ukraine. I spent about 3 months over there.
Wow.
In 2003. A long time ago. When
First-hand experience.
There you go. I don't want to tell you what I was doing, but the issue of the day is there was plans to involve them in NATO even back in those days. And these 20 years later, this is the result. But the issue of the day is these people have nuclear weapons. They are not to be toyed with. They are very, very tough fighters, and we are not. And the thing is, the bombs that were dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki would be considered to be tactical nukes now. They got planet killers over there, and so do we.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even next level.
Next level. And the thing is, the bombs that we have now in the nuclear arsenal, once you release those, they would create a chain that would destroy civilization. We cannot afford nuclear war. I grew up with a MAD doctrine, mutual assured destruction. Nobody talks about that anymore. Again, I'm a Cold Warrior, and I'll tell you another thing is of those nuclear weapons that came, that are out there past the Soviet Union, that were left over, now in the Russian Federation, they don't maintain their nukes like we do. I spent 14 years out west wandering around doing things, helping to defend our country and making sure our nuclear silo was fit and ready for use.
Wow.
It's not the same in Russia.
Yeah.
And they have what's called tactical nukes. We should not be making war on people who have nuclear weapons. The question of the day is, are you willing to send your children to Ukraine to fight their war? Henry Kissinger, before he died not long ago, said we should consider giving Russia some of the territory on the eastern side of Ukraine in order to keep the peace, because people are dying wholesale.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would rather give up some territory and keep people alive than risk sending my son and daughter over there.
Yeah, there's having that military background, I think, is so valuable to being a congressman.
Thank you.
I mean, because you know what war is like.
I do.
You know the catastrophe that comes from war.
I do.
And you would put that into consideration before you vote to send somebody else's son or daughter to go die in a foreign battlefield.
I would.
That's a huge thing.
That's the bottom line. But most of the congressmen today, and women, very few have any military experience. So they're willing to just send people off to do things that they wouldn't do themselves. Most of them are millionaires.
Yep.
And most of them send their children to Ivy League education. And, the bottom line is we have to have some common people in Congress. That's what Congress is all about.
Amen.
The common man having an opportunity to represent his fellow neighbors. I don't plan on going in there and staying for 30 years like Nancy Pelosi. My intention is to go, do 3 terms, fix some things, and move on.
Like a great American soldier. Knows how to goes in, has a mission, and executes it.
Amen.
To save his country.
Yes, sir.
And you've been very gracious with your time. And it's incredible to meet you.
It's incredible to meet you. I appreciate the time.
It's with pleasure and love the country.
Yes, sir.
And tell potential voters a fun fact about yourself, something that you do in your free time, a hobby of yours. Let's get to know a little bit more about Berney.
I'm running for Congress. I don't have any free time. I just have fun being in this country, and I'm thankful having been and lived in all the places that I've lived. I'm very appreciative of it.
Grateful.
I'm grateful.
And it motivates you to...
Yeah. And the bottom line is I walked away from Congressman money to do this run.
Yeah.
I was pretty senior, so bottom line is I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. And if we don't get this right in 10 years, we're going to regret it greatly. And one day I will go to my grave knowing I did what was right. And that's what it all boils down to.
Well, Mr. Flowers, I say
Berney.
it's Berney. Berney.
Yes, sir.
It's often said the people get the leaders that they deserve. If Maryland 3 elects you,
Yes.
I could say that they probably are some pretty good people.
Amen. Amen. Thank
You have. It's been really great getting to know your policies, who you are as a person, and best of luck to you in your campaign. They have a great candidate, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if I see you in Congress with that.
Well, I look forward to winning. We're D+8. That means there's 8 Democrats for every one.
Wow, D+8.
But here's the thing. There are a lot of conservatives that are tired of the status quo. Of independents who are tired of the status quo. There are a lot of Democrats who are contacting me and they're saying, hey, we're behind you. So we're going to shock the world.
You will.
Yes, sir.
I'll be praying for you. Tell our audience, where can they find you? With social media, your website.
I'm all over. If you type Berney Flowers, I'll pop up on most social media. I do a podcast called I can't even remember the name of my podcast, the Loyal Opposition Podcast. And also, I got a book called Black Values Matter. But the issue of the day is you can find my website at flowersformaryland.com. Please check me out at flowersformaryland.com. Everything I do is there, and you'll see the book, you'll see the podcast, you'll see my philosophy, and we're going to win this thing. So, and by the way, if you got an extra $5 that you want to donate, I'd love to have it. We will make sure that we put it to good use because our Democrats are well funded, and we got to take them down. And the only way we can do this is joining the conservatives together. One team, one fight.